On November 15, 2019, Joker, the origin story of the wildly popular Batman villain, became the first R-rated movie to surpass $1 billion in the global box office. This achievement is likely to the dismay of many news outlets, as the film was reported on very negatively before and after its release. So much so that the FBI and US military felt it necessary to issue warnings to the public around the film's release. Many who believed that Joker would inspire violence cite the 2012 Aurora, Colorado shooting that took place during a showing of The Dark Knight Rises and took the lives of 12 moviegoers. A rumor that the gunman had identified himself as the Joker began to spread almost immediately after the horrific incident.
Clearly looks like a deranged individual. He had his hair painted red. He said he was the Joker.
In walks Arapahoe County District Attorney George Brockler, who oversaw the prosecution of the Aurora gunman. Since the shooting, Brockler has denied all rumors that the perpetrator was trying to represent the Joker or that he had an obsession with the Batman franchise. The Dark Knight Rises was simply a blockbuster opening at the time that had determined he wanted to commit the crime. If it had been The Avengers, he would have been there. If it were Jurassic World, he would have been there. It had nothing to do, that we can find, with Batman. It is ridiculous, completely unfounded. It gets repeated by so many sources, by people doing their research, that it just becomes real. An explanation of the shooter's dyed red hair was given by the gunman himself to his psychiatrist. He dyed his hair that color because red suggests bravery. This and the fact that the Joker's hair is actually green was looked past to turn this rumor into reality. The shooter addressed all of these rumors with elation, saying this: "This monster got exactly what he wanted, as many other mass shooters have. They will be remembered for years to come." This brings me to my claim, which I address directly to journalists. Instead of attributing blame to a movie for shootings that have yet to happen, perhaps news outlets should look inward and consider how they cover these horrific incidents when they occur. Media such as music, movies, video games, and even books have been blamed for inspiring violence among audiences for as long as those forms of media have been around. Studies on whether this scapegoating is reasonable have been conducted for decades. One particular study published by Yale University Press details experiments conducted by authors Patty M. Valkenburg and Jessica Taylor Piotrowski. Some of the studies showed that media violence influences aggressive behavior, but that aggressive behavior has just as much influence on youth's preference for media violence. This correlation makes it difficult to determine which came first, the violent behavior or the media that may have influenced it. The official conclusion of this was that the relationship between media violence and criminally violent behavior has yet to be established, but that this does not mean that such a relationship does not exist. Within studies of this nature, there are scholars who argue that resulting estimates are conflated with other risk factors, for example, an aggressive temperament or harsh familial environments. They demonstrate that when holding other risk factors constant, the effect of media violence on aggression is nearly non-existent. Because of this, they are in favor of societal efforts that target the true risk factors of aggression. While these tests have results that clearly represent a negative correlation between violent media and inspired violence, the notion that mass killers are encouraged by previous mass killings they see on the news is one of undoubtable validity. Because of this, there have been more groups and individuals recently springing up to fight against giving mass shooters a celebrity status. One movement, simply titled "Don't Name Them," says this: "It is important to use their names and likenesses to apprehend them and bring them to justice. However, once they are captured, it's really no longer a part of the story." The organization argues that some suspects are motivated by a desire for fame, notoriety, and/or recognition. Don't Name Them cites a study by Arizona State University physicist Sherry Towers to support this. Towers' research article, Contagion in Mass Killings and School Shootings, uses data to determine the probability that a major mass shooting will inspire more events like it in the following days. What she found is that there is significant evidence that mass killings involving firearms are incented by similar events in the immediate past. The period of this likelihood increase is 13 days, wherein at least 0.3 new incidents will occur. A way to reduce our nation's problem with gun violence is not to be found in the blame of fiction, but in the way said gun violence is covered. Make famous the victims who were taken from us, the heroes who had a part in saving lives of survivors, and don't turn the perpetrator into the next Joker. That's giving them exactly what they want.